Hello everybody, I want to once again welcome you to Kathy's Creole Kitchen. Today we're going to be making thumbprint cookies. This is a favorite Christmas cookie. It's very simple to make. It's a wonderful treat and there are two different ways you can make it. But let me give you the ingredients first. You're going to have 1 cup of unsalted butter. I'm going to cream that in the mixer. 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1 large egg yolk, 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla extract, 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1/2 cup of sugar for rolling the cookies around in, 1 1/2 cups of pecan pieces for a different type of cookie, and 1/3 cup of, I'm using raspberry preserves for the thumbprint. So let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna take the butter and we're gonna cream the butter. We're gonna get it down and cream it down real nice and fluffy. And so once we get that done, then we'll go to the next step. Okay, so I think I've got the butter creamed enough. So a really important thing that you have to do is you have to scrape the butter down the sides. You don't want it all stuck onto the side of the bowl because we're gonna add the sugars now and we're gonna cream the sugars with the butter. So you want all the butter creamed in with the sugar. So we're gonna put the regular sugar, granulated sugar, and we're gonna put the brown sugar. Brown sugar should be firmly packed. So now we're gonna turn this on and we're gonna cream them together. And while that's doing that, I'd like to remind you guys to go to my YouTube page when you watch these videos and like them. I want you to like the videos if you like them. Leave me comments. It's really important that I get feedback from you. If you don't like the videos, then why am I doing this? So that's why I ask to make sure that you like the videos because it gives me an idea of what I'm doing, if I'm doing it right. So let's take a look at this right now. Let's stop it. Let's scrape it down the sides again. Scrape it down. And in the meantime, I have the oven heating at 350 degrees. It has to be preheated for 350 degrees, okay? So we're gonna put this here. I'm gonna mix it. And so now we're going to add the egg yolk. We're gonna turn it down low. We're gonna add the egg yolk. And the reason I'm not beating it is because it doesn't have any white in it. I take the white out because I'm going to roll the cookie around in the egg white when I'm making it with the pecans on it. Because you know, I'm from Louisiana, so any chance I get to incorporate pecans into a dessert, that's what I do. So we're going to incorporate pecans into this dessert. So let's get that mixed. We got the egg in there. Put the 3/4 teaspoon of vanilla right in there. Gonna beat it up some more real fast. All right, let's take a look. Let's scoot it down right there. So we got that scooted down. So in the meanwhile, we're going to add the cornstarch to the flour. We're going to put the cornstarch right here in the flour. And we're actually going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. Because with these cookies, normally I don't do salt, but with these cookies, you kind of need that little 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So I'm gonna mix a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in with the flour and the cornstarch. And we're gonna just kind of mix it together, just like that. Just like that. We're just going to add that all in there like that. So you want to kind of mix it up so it doesn't sit all in one spot and the cookies will be the mixtures will be uneven. So you want to whisk in the dry ingredients all together. So let's scrape down the sides again. It's important that you always scrape down the sides. And let's turn that on again. Okay, and now we are going to add the flour. And what you want to do with that is you want to add it slowly because, you know, dry ingredients will pick up a big old dust. So we just slowly add it in, let it beat in with the butter and sugar ingredient. Then you take your time, putting it in there so you don't have a big dust cloud all over the house and you have flour all over the house. So that's why you got to do it slowly. You can't just dump it all in at once because you'll have a great old, big old flour cloud. So we're going to mix that in. All right. So now it's becoming mixed. It's coarse. We're going to turn it up a little more. So we're going to do that. And it's very coarse. It's a very coarse dough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a regular old tablespoon from my flatware. This kind of tablespoon. Not a measuring tablespoon, just a tablespoon from the flatware. Now it's all sticking together because it's bumping up. So now we're going to open it up, lift it up, and then we're going to scrape the ingredients down, make sure they're all mixed up. So now we're going to get this size spoon because you're going to have to roll this into balls. And this is what we're going to do. We get a spoonful, we roll it into a ball like this. We roll it like that. You want to roll it real well so it doesn't separate. So we're going to roll all this up real well. See how nice and rolled it is? And the next step is we're going to get the egg white and we're going to beat the egg white a little bit like this. Just like that. We're going to dip. We're going to dip the ball of cookie dough in there. And then we're going to get the pecans and we're going to take the cookie dough that's got the egg white on it and roll it into the pecans just like this. Then we're going to get it and we're going to place it on this tray. This is a cookie sheet with wax paper. So I'm going to get it all done. I'm going to do that and then I'll get back to you once I've got them all done and they're ready to go in the oven. Okay, so I know you noticed that I didn't use the sugar to roll it in. That's because I rolled it in pecans instead. So I've got a tray full of them, a platter full of them. So I'm going to transfer them to the baking sheet with the parchment paper on it. And we're going to bake them in the oven, in a 350 degree oven for only 5 minutes. Because after the 5 minutes, we're going to take them out and we're going to put that thumbprint in it with a teaspoon, and then we're going to put the jam in it. So I'm going to put these in a 350 degree oven for 5 minutes. So let's get it in the oven. Put it in the oven. And I'm going to set the timer for 5 minutes. Okay, it's on 5 minutes, and in 5 minutes, we'll get them out and we'll put the jam in them. So the timer's going off. I need to get it's been 5 minutes, so I'm going to get the cookies out of the oven. I'm going to set them here, but I got to make sure to turn the oven back to 8 minutes because we're going to cook them at 350 degrees for 8 more minutes. So let's get it started back up. Now, the next thing we're going to do is, to get the thumbprints in them, this is an old-fashioned aluminum teaspoon that I have. So we're going to just take it and press it in there so that you can have a little well. See that? You just make a little well inside of them. Just like that. Be careful not to crumble the cookie apart. So scoot them over. See how beautiful they came out? You just press that little well in there. These are going to be so delicious with the pecans on them. And then the next batch we're going to make it just the plain without the pecans because I want to give you options. I know everybody doesn't like nuts. as much as I do, but I truly love pecans. Let's get that little well in there and make sure you keep the cookie together. If it starts crumbling apart, then you just kind of squeeze it back together. So we're going to make an addition in each one of the cookies, okay? Doing that. Get that one in there. One more to go. This one is going to have to be molded back together, and that's all you have to do. You just have to squeeze them and mold them back together because it's dough and it's not all the way cooked. It's very pliable. So now I have 100% organic raspberry jam. My flour is organic, my sugar is organic. I try to use organic whenever I can. So I'm going to take a spoon of raspberry preserves and put right there in that well. You just put it right in the well in all of the cookies. This is so delicious. I make raspberry flavored because that's my son's favorite. His favorite is raspberries. So I make his favorite. But I also like it with blackberry preserves. It's good with strawberry preserves, apricot, whichever you like. My dad, God rest his soul, liked apricot. So whenever I would make them, he would request the apricot one. So apricot, however you want to say it. I'm from northern Louisiana, so I say apricot. Let's put this here. It's almost done. These are going to be so delicious, and we're going to put them back in the 350-degree oven for 8 minutes. So remember that. We put it back in the 350-degree oven for 8 minutes, and then once we get them done, we will pull them out, and I'll let you see them. Okay, it's beeping. It's time to take the cookies out. They've been here for 8 minutes. Let's get them out and see what they look like. Take a look. They're piping hot and delicious. And they're very hot, so you have to let them cool completely before you serve them, because they will burn your lips off. So we're gonna let those cool. And in the meantime, I've made the balls for the second set of cookies. This set, I just rolled it into a ball, and I'm going to roll them into sugar. This is where this sugar part comes in. So I'm gonna roll them all into sugar, and then when I get them all rolled into the sugar, we're gonna do the filling in them. So let's get this done first. Okay, I'm finishing doing the little print in it with the teaspoon. So now we're gonna put the filling in them. And then when we get the filling in these, then we're gonna put them in the oven. Because these don't have pecans on them, we're gonna probably put them in the oven for 11 minutes because we're not gonna have to take them back out of the oven. We're gonna put them in here until they're lightly brown and the preserve is bubbling up. This is gonna be so delicious. And as you notice, some of them are a little bit bigger than the others, but it doesn't matter. It's not precise unless you're gonna go to scale and weigh them. If you want to do that, you can, but it's really not necessary. I just roll them, try to get them as close to the same as I can. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes they're the right size, sometimes they're not. But it's okay because they all taste good. But these balls have been rolled in sugar, and then I put the print in them with the teaspoon. And then we put the jam in it like this. The preserves, this is not jam, this is raspberry preserves. So we got it all in there. Now we're gonna pop it in the oven for 11 minutes. So let's get it in the oven. Put the timer on 11 minutes. But it might not take 11 minutes. It could be less time because you just want them to get a nice little golden brown. So we're gonna let them cook, and then when they're ready to come out of the oven, I'll get back with you. Okay, the buzzer has went off. The 11 minutes are up. Let's get these thumbprints out of the oven. And let's take a look. Off the oven. I'm gonna put these on here. Take a look at them. They're beautiful and delicious looking. Take a look. So you get to see both of them. You get to see the ones with the pecans. This is how they look. They're still too warm to bite into. This is the regular thumbprints with the sugar icing rolled in the sugar. So let's see if I can take a little bite of this to test it to see how it tastes for you. So delicious. I wish you could taste this. Make some tonight. Pass it on to your friends for the holiday. You can put them in a little container and give them as gifts. Let's recap the ingredients. 1 cup of unsalted butter, 1/3 cup of sugar, 1/3 cup of brown sugar, 1 egg yolk, 3/4 teaspoon vanilla extract, 2 1/4 cup of all-purpose flour, 2 teaspoons of cornstarch, 1/2 teaspoon salt, 1/2 cup of sugar for rolling these in. A cup of sugar for rolling these in. 1 1/2 cups of pecans for rolling those in. And you want some, probably a cup of raspberry preserves or apricot or strawberry or blackberry, whatever kind you like. So that's the ingredients. Please make them for the holidays. Like I say, you can serve them at a party. You can serve them just as a treat. And you can give them as gifts if you wrap them up all pretty in the tin. Thank you so much for joining Kathy's Creole Kitchen. Leave me comments, like my videos, and I'll see you next week. Y'all have a safe and happy weekend.